many of you might be wondering, who is this guy? What has he done? What is he doing here? To be really honest, even I'm not really sure. I mean, I haven't co-founded a multi-million-dollar company, or neither have I invented some sort of a mind control prosthetic arm, or neither am I an actor or a comedian. Well, a comedian maybe, but I'm the only one who thinks I'm funny, so I'm not really sure that counts. So you can imagine my surprise when I wake up one morning and I see an invite to give a talk here. My writing inspires people, I was told. And that's not a bad thing to hear. Don't get me wrong, I am not Robin Sharma's son or anything. I am just a regular Joe who likes to share his experiences online. So I'm not a writer. I am more of a social media contributor. I write on a platform. Now, I think I'm going to use the term platform very inappropriately. So I write on a platform I believe most Ramayans are familiar with, Quora. So what do I write? I mean, why Quora of all things? I mean, why not Twitter? Why not Facebook? I mean, everybody is on Facebook, everybody is on Twitter, so why not any of these? So this goes back a while. Back in the day, I used to maintain a journal. And the elite few who had access to this journal of mine were convinced that, it was bestseller material and I had to get it published. I didn't. Thank God for better judgment. But a few years later, someone suggested that I write a few pieces from there on Google's Blogger. And that was how Neil the blogger was born, through Samvit Menon's little stories. So this is where I used to write, interesting and funny anecdotes from my life. Again, the word funny is subjective. You don't necessarily need to find it funny. But I would write stories on how I had my butt kicked by my crush's elder brother in school, or how I was brutally bro-zoned by someone, or how someone thought unisex body lotion was meant for sex. Yeah. So this is what I used to write. And then there were times, against a lot of apprehension, when I would get a little bit more personal. I would write stories which were really personal to me. And this was the first time I was expressing myself publicly. So you see, guys, joblessness is a disease, okay? It makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do, like put your life up for the whole world to see. Okay. But then when someone says, you inspire me, or, this is just what I needed, or, this is what I needed to get going, I suppose what you're doing is not all that bad, right? So what does social media mean? Social media to most is probably restricted to the top 3 or 4. Like you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have Google+, and for professional networking, you have LinkedIn. I too have a Facebook and an Instagram account, but I don't really contribute anything much to them. My feed on Facebook is usually fed off other people's feeds, crazy cat videos and videos of kids who are going to bring us Olympic glory, people's mood swings, and yeah, grown men sending me Candy Crush requests. Yeah, I see that. I mean, to be honest, it's not the kind of content that would draw me in. For instance, a friend of mine had a kid. So over the next few months, I was confused who the account belonged to, mother or child, Then a friend of mine got married. So I congratulated him, and how does he reply? Beta, Neil, meri to shaadi ho gayi, ab tu kab kar raha hai? So I learned my lesson, and I was still happy with Google's Blogger, but this was not social networking as such. But it was fine for me because I wasn't much of a social networker per se. So I got onto Quora sometime back in 2013, 2014, and I used to get a weekly update on my mail, which I would mostly ignore. I was there because a friend of mine insisted me to sign up, saying that this was the next best thing. And I laughed at him and then said, yeah, man, That's what they said about Orkut. See what happened to Orkut. So what did I do initially on Quora? I mean, I took my time to read. I mean, there were times when I was tempted to write, but seeing the overwhelmingly high standards of writing that was there on Quora back then, I was convinced my writing was up to no good. So I took my time and soaked it all in. I learned more about Indian and world history in the next few months than 14 years of schooling ever taught me. I learned more about quantum mechanics, gravitational waves, space travel than I had ever known. You know? For an honors graduate in physics, I suddenly felt like I was Jon Snow. I knew nothing. So I learned, and then I learned to learn, and then I learned some more. And then I wrote my first article sometime back in 2015, December. Right. So what is it that makes sites like Quora or Reddit or Ask.com so popular? What is different about these sites? It's about being original. It's about updating knowledge rather than updating statuses and pictures. It's about people wanting to know what exactly is out there and others willing to tell you what is out there. It's about being a little serious. For instance, you wouldn't mind reading a 3,000 or 4,000 word masterpiece by someone like Balaji Vishwanathan, whereas the moment you stumble upon a 250, 300 word status update on Facebook, you go to the next post, right? It's about reflecting the way you think rather than reflecting the way you want to be seen, okay? To me, this is social networking. Sure, there are times when you'll bump into the runt of the lot over here as well. People would be seeking answers to questions like, why do South Indians look like ghosts? Or what would happen if someone's dhoti catches fire? Or then there's my personal favorite, hear me out. My girlfriend dumped me for another guy, so I met him, we became gay. Did I take revenge? I have still no answers for that question, okay. But this is social networking, all right. This is social networking of the highest order. I've had the opportunity to interact with a lot of great like-minded people. I've spoken to musicians, artists, writers, picked the brains of scientists, politicians, journalists. If this is not social networking, then what is, right? So the first answer of mine that went viral, so to say, was something about a crazy breakup story. Everybody loves a crazy breakup story, right? Especially one which is involving your ex-girlfriend's birthday on one hand and watching an India-Pakistan T20 final on the other hand. Everybody loves it. So it went viral. People began to take notice. And if I look back at that answer, it's a really silly answer. Okay, I knew that I had to improve from there. I needed to refine my writing, right? So I did that. I've moved on from writing silly relationship advice because everybody nowadays seems to be a relationship expert. So I moved on from there. I write more about life, growing up, my family, my parents. I reach out to people and I write about science, my fields of expertise, that is mathematics, chemistry, physics, atheism. All right. So I've moved on from, just votes and views, and I like to reach out to people nowadays, okay? All you need to do now is, refine your feed, follow the right people, follow the right topics, and you'll be gifted with great content to go through every day. Okay, so what makes alternate social media special? So alternate social media forms a platform where you get to effectively express yourself, okay? If you are good at what you do, if you are good at what you write, chances are you get picked up by a lot of major publishing houses, like you have Huffington Post, Washington Post, Forbes, Inc. And they might even pay you a little money to get your articles published. No, that hasn't happened to me yet. I don't see that happening anytime in the near future as well. But I now know that, through alternate social media, I have made a little difference to a few people here and there. My experiences in life, my stories, have apparently inspired a few people. It has brought light to somebody's darkness. It has made a few people smile. And it's all worth it, isn't it, in the end of it? It's all worth it. So yeah, I now know that my life is this, little, or rather large potpourri of little stories with a little something for everyone in it. But I just hope that, someday down the line, I don't run out of stories to tell. I don't run out of, I hope my answers don't become repetitive. But I suppose that's a question for another day. Thank you all very much. You've been a great audience. I'll see you around. Thank you.